February 10th at 6 p.m. Let's stand for the pledge. You're fine. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I see we have some additions to the agenda. The first addition is just an additional bills for approval. Under the mayor and city council's report, we scratched 2 and 3. Under public safety, under B, we added a memo dated February 10th, 2025 from Chief Lowell Miller, Minnesota Agency Medical Services. If I could have a motion on that, that would be great.
Approved, or motion.
There's a motion, second. All in favor, discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right. Public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issues raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issues will be placed on the agenda of the next regular city council meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. At the discretion of the mayor, each speaker is given a 3-minute time limit. Do we have anybody for public forum? Pat, come on up.
Pat Netco, 36084 County Road 66, Cross Lake. I just want to thank Patrick and the City Works guys for keeping the sidewalk clear. It's been great, and it's working really well, and some people are using it, so I just want to say thank you for that. It's great.
Good job. Thank you, Pat, and great job, Pat. All right, to the consent calendar. Has everyone had time to look over the consent calendar, and does anybody have any questions or want to pull anything? Good? Good? Good. All right, if one of you wants to make a motion to approve it, that'd be great.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
We have a motion. Do we have a
I'll second.
And we have a second by Robin. Discussion once, twice, 3 times. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, now we're at the mayor and council members report. Resolution for donations. We have some donations here. Timothy Harold family donated $500 to the fire department, the Cross Lake Firefighters Relief Association, with $11,223.10 for the cold storage building, and then once again the Cross Lake Firefighters Relief Association with $100 towards the vacuum. If I could have a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, discussion once, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Or sorry, opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Let's see. Lori, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have a couple things this evening. The first would be that I request the mayor and the council to assign to the personnel committee to hear and represent the city council as a whole for a step 3 grievance with the ASME union.
I will make a motion that we appoint myself and Sandy Farger, which consists of the personnel committee, to represent the city council for a step 3 grievance.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion once, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you. The second is a housekeeping issue. Every year we have the liability coverage waiver form, which is in your packet. And this is so that the member does not waive the monetary limits on a municipal tort liability. And so this is just housekeeping. I'll need a council action on that.
Any questions or concerns? We could have a motion.
Motion to approve the liability coverage waiver form.
Second.
A second. Discussion once, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. Those, oh gosh, what the heck?
All in favor?
Squirrel, yeah, all in favor. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
And lastly, I need approval of the ASME union contract dated for the years 2025 through 2027 We all met the last Wednesday of January as a whole for a special meeting and finished the negotiations that were started back in April and in September. And when we left, everything was agreed upon. So I did put a copy of those contracts in front of you. Everything is reflected in that contract from the meetings. Nothing has changed.
I move to accept the approval, the AFSCME union contract.
I second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator Conway. Jake, you are up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Tonight I'm making a request to City Council to add an additional full-time police officer to the Cross Lake Police Department. The previous and current Public Safety Commissions unanimously voted on a motion to make a recommendation to the City Council to support the request for an additional officer. The last City Council earmarked money in this year's budget for the possibility of an additional officer this year. For the public's sake, I'll briefly outline the need for an additional officer. The memo in your council packet that you received from me outlines in detail the need for the additional officer. Cross Lake Police Department has had twice as many, or is at twice as many calls for service per year than we were 10 years ago, with only one additional officer added in the last 10 years. Cross Lake is growing and getting busier. It's stressful for other officers and gets hard to cover shifts when someone is sick, injured, or on vacation. Another officer would help that tremendously. It'll give us a consistent second officer on weekends. Of course, we all know that weekends are super busy here, and last year we were running with one officer and at times couldn't even keep up and relied on other agencies all the time to help us out. And an additional officer could help with code enforcement that can't currently be done. And an additional officer would allow for the police department to have more time and manpower to conduct proactive investigations that currently can't be done.
Yep.
Do you have any questions for me, Council?
I just have a quick question. I know we've been talking, it's kind of been going back and forth about cars. An additional car, are we doing an additional car, or are we not, or what's kind of your angle?
What we would do is keep the car that we had that was gonna,
Right.
that we
Yep.
were gonna get rid of this year, we'll keep that and then go on a 6-year cycle for squad cars. So we'll hang on to the one for one more year.
Good.
And then we'll deal with it from there, just a longer cycle.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder that we did put this in the budget for the potential 7th officer.
Yep. Council, do you have any questions for the chief?
None from me.
Robin?
None for me.
Bob?
None.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you,
I
Council.
move that we accept Chief Meyer's request for an additional full-time police officer.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thanks, chief. All right, Chief Lowmiller, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The memo you have in front of you basically is to recognize that the fire department is the medical response unit for the city of Cross Lake. We don't have to do this. Basically, it's going to register us with the state of Minnesota, and if there's any EMS funding in legislation, it gives us the power to apply for that funding.
Perfect. Council have any questions?
Is this new? I'm sorry.
Kinda.
Okay.
There's only this includes fire departments, police departments, first responder units, and there's only, I think, 60 that have registered in the state. So we brought it up at our chief's meeting last week, and we talked to North Memorial, and then I did some research with the Minnesota Emergency Medical Group, and they said, yeah, doesn't hurt, but if there is funding through the legislation and state, if you're not registered, you won't be able to receive the funding, so,
And is there any additional responsibility?
no.
Okay.
Act as is.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief Lowmiller.
Need a
I
motion?
move that we recognize the Cross Lake Fire Department as the medical response unit for the city of Cross Lake.
Go ahead. Perfect. Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, Mr. Warner.
Mayor, council. First thing was on the list was, we had the county, future road projects. And the first one on there would be the resurfacing and moving, giving us a 5-foot shoulder for pedestrians, which is not the ideal thing. We like an off-road trail, but, this is better than nothing.
And this is on 103, right,
On
Pat?
103 from Happy Landing to Perkins.
Thank you.
And they're also gonna add what they're called mumble strips instead of rumble strips. They're a little bit quieter
Okay,
because people living in the area do not like listening to that all the time.
yeah.
So we need to have you guys, make a motion that you accept the mumble strips for that. Sounds silly, but I get it. People don't like listening to that at 2 in the morning. The project goes in 2026.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I just have something to add, and I didn't know if it was going to be added per our conversation this last week, that we'd like Crow Wing County to keep us in the loop on the cultural review
We
of the
talked to them, and they
103.
didn't get, I emailed them, they didn't get back to us, because we'd like to piggytail off of their cultural stuff
Yep.
for, if we put an
Right,
off-road trail.
right.
They're gonna get back to us with me with a cost on it, because they'd had no problems with us piggybacking off of them. They just never got back with a cost on it yet.
And relative to the turn lane on Perkins and
Yeah.
103. Okay, thank you.
All right, then we need a motion on that.
I'll make the motion to approve the mumble strips.
So I'll second that. Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, next thing is the county's gonna redo the bridge surface over Daggett Brook in 2026, also with an automatic stoplights, because they'll be down to 1 lane. Since they're down to 1 lane, that is a good time, or when they're gonna, mill and overlay the road too, if we wanna add a sidewalk somewhere along there, but if we had a sidewalk from Cones and Craft up to the Dairy Queen, that is a city expense, they have nothing to do with it. There really is no grants out there, the county didn't think there was anything for us to do either.
Okay.
So it would be all city expense, and didn't you say, Phil, roughly maybe like 30,000-40,000 or something for that sidewalk thing? Ballpark idea?
Yeah, I thought it was about 40,000 based on what the county got for bids.
Okay.
66.
All right, next thing is, 103 roundabout, and I do have a picture here. If you want to put that up, TJ? And what we're proposing on the roundabout, because they wanted to run down some of our side roads that are really all beat up, which is in the black here. I was going through the Marks property, and they're looking into that to use that as the bypass.
Really?
And it'll send the traffic out around 36, but the locals will know to take the shortcut there, and we'll keep all the major traffic going the other way. And they're looking into that to see if there's enough room that it won't interfere with their construction.
Nice.
So hopefully that's the better option than anything else, because it'll destroy the other roads if we have traffic on them.
Nice.
So Pat, they're still negotiating with Mr. Marks, or the Marks family?
They're looking into the whole thing right now, just to see if there's enough room. They, I emailed them on Thursday or Friday, and they have not, they just replied that they're looking into it.
What is the council action on this agenda item? What are we looking for? Just to continue going down that avenue, or why does it say council action? On D. I'm assuming we're on D. Are we recommending, or are we?
No, The 103 would be B was the 103 resurfacing, just
Sorry, D.
piggybacking off.
D,
D?
it says council action. Are we just kind of recommending this concept, or what?
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
recommend the
Okay.
bypass on the Marks property if they can come do it.
I'll make a motion if they can come to an agreement on something with Tony Marks that we continue looking down this avenue on this concept.
Second.
A discussion?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
How do they get onto 103 from north or south?
103, excuse me, they're gonna have to go back to Happy Landing, and we were just figuring that's gonna be local traffic, so turn that Happy Landing, come East Shore around.
And if it's not local traffic, we were going to divert them all the way down to, what was that road again?
The one that runs by Ossawa and McKee, 39.
Yes, 39, so that the heavy equipment, the trucks will go that route versus local.
Yeah, we're trying to keep as much off our local roads as we can,
Yep.
because we definitely don't want them going down Happy Landing and East Shore for big semi.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure more will evolve with this concept as we get closer. So we have a motion, second, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
The next one is the resurfacing of Highway 66 from Bald Eagle to the fire hall. This would be a good time if we wanted to put a sidewalk in to piggy it back off with them at that time, because the equipment's there.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to be looking into it. Like I say, there's, excuse me, the county says it's a good idea, but it's our ticket to pay, so
Right,
we'll go with that.
right. I believe Tim is still doing some more groundwork and digging in some files to see and looking at that 50-year-old stormwater sewage. So we'll see what comes of that.
Next one is Fawn Lake resurfacing. There's nothing for us there, just to be aware that they're planning on doing it.
Okay?
The owner of Barstock was checking on the possibility of putting a road in by where the new Barstock is. We've kind of talked about it a little bit.
Is that connecting?
It'll connect to
Pioneer?
that alley and back. They call it an
Okay.
alley and back of there.
Okay.
I have no problems with that after revisiting things, because we do own that alley back there, which Shar pointed out to me this week or whenever it was, we finally found the paperwork that we're responsible for
Okay,
it.
so we are.
So if Barstock wants to work with Phil.
Yep.
And do it appropriate, no problems. The sewer's plenty deep, so we won't have any freeze problems or anything, so.
And then we would obviously maintain it if it was
Once
built to
they get it up
specs.
to our specs, then
Yep.
we take it over and maintain it.
Okay,
And it'll
cool.
actually make life easier that way for plowing. and
Straight
everything.
shot.
Yep. Next one would be the Harbor Lane. Me and Phil have worked together on that. We're going over everything. All the easements are in place. Correct, Phil? We had all easements. We're gonna meet sometime, next week or so? You said to go over
I'll get,
final details on it. And
Yep, trying to put the final plans together.
Yep.
nice. And then H, the memo dated with the Moonlight Sewer Connection update.
Oh, that's right.
Well, can you go back to I?
Yeah.
So, the, Public Works Public Works recommended to go forward. Does the council believe to go forward? Because we would be putting the plans finally together and then probably coming to you and saying, let's bid this.
I mean, if I need to make a motion, I think there's a consensus if you have
I
all
just want to
the,
make sure there was
yes,
support.
yes. Do you want that in a motion, Shar? Okay, I'll make a motion that we continue to go forward with the Harbor Lane project.
Second.
Discussion once, twice, 3 times, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, ayes have it.
All right, and the Moonlight Bay one,
Yeah.
I'd like Phil to discuss that since he was more in depth on that part of it with the numbers. Sure. For that one.
I'm not going to take a lot of time because we got really good momentum here. But this is, you inherited this back when we did the 66 sewer extension. We had the 3 Moonlight properties. We estimated what their connection cost should be. And we just finally confirmed it in 2024. And basically what we're saying is We think that the car wash got overcharged, so
Okay.
they actually should get a refund. We think the convenience store was right on, and we think that Moonlight Bay was higher than they should have been, but they still owe a bill. They all paid 80% up front, so
So-
this will close it all out then.
So does that mean the city will be issuing a check back to the car wash or cutting a check?
However, I assume so. I don't know if they want to have a
You guys
credit
can.
for years.
You got, okay. Sounds good, sweet. Thanks, Phil. And then Phil, it looks like you're also tagged here for update on your Road 2
So,
improvements.
Year 2 road improvements, the city hired Nagel to do opinion of market benefits. Those are limited appraisals on what the benefit would be if we did mill and overlays. So for the year 2 improvements, we're doing a bunch of mill and overlays with the county. The county will, we did the plans, we gave them to the county will bid it, they'll get a contractor, they'll do the mill and overlays in our city. And later this year, then the city will hold or facilitate assessment hearings with property owners along there. And what this table shows is a range of values that the appraiser came up with for various types of properties. And it should be just, I think it's item J, 2J or something like that.
Yep.
And so, just to give you an idea, when we did Daggett Pine Road, we determined that a single-family unit, whether it was on a lake or not on a lake, should pay $2,000, and that if they were in a townhome, it was $500, and if they had a large parcel of land, it was $2,500. And then if they had a benefit, they had to use Daggett Pine to get onto their private road, they paid $1,000. So this is going to be the basis. The Public Works Committee has directed me to put together kind of a mock assessment based on this information. So this is just information for you.
Sweet. Pat and maybe Phil, going forward as we're running our road plan, when are we gonna start doing another survey to add roads on the back end? So we can keep the 5-year road plan constantly rotating.
So we're in year 2, and that's a good idea. The process is we would establish the next 5 years and then have a public meeting to let the public give their input, and then the council formally adopts that, and then that squares up the next 5 years.
When, do we have an idea of when we wanna start that? Or is it just kind of?
Anytime, I guess, anytime we could start to refresh that.
What do you think the Public Works Commission's appetite is for that?
It probably takes us a few meetings, so it's like a few months, probably something to
Right.
work on from the spring through the summer.
Okay.
And then come out in the fall maybe and actually have a public meeting.
Do you need a formal motion to kind of start going down that avenue, or is? do you
Maybe
think-
at another meeting. I think
Okay.
we'll bring it up at the Public Works and get.
And then come
kinda-
back and then,
Yeah.
okay. Sounds good.
Mr. Mayor, I think we need a motion on item H for the sewer connection updates.
Yeah, I think we were, yeah, thank
I will
you.
make a motion to move forward with the corrected rebalancing of the sewer cost to the impacted entities.
Second.
Discussion, discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Robin. All right, Mr. Grauman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 4 items for you tonight. The first one being the Community Center Park Master Plan Phase 1. In the background, it just goes over the history of how we've gotten to this point. And if this is approved, this is to move forward with grading and paving, fence installation, and surfacing of the 4 additional pickleball courts listed in Phase 1. I have the financial implications broken down. In the pickleball courts, we have the $30,000 coming from pickleball fund balance, and just for your information, if you don't know, that is from revenue generated from the pickleball program. And then the donations are coming in from the PAL Foundation, which the CPA, this Cross Lake Pickleball Association, successfully raised the $70,000. That's where that is coming from. And then the parking lot and the path leading from the parking lot to the new courts, 141 coming from park dedication, and 60, which is identified in the park general capital expense budget. The asphalt did come in a little bit higher than anticipated. We do have available funds in the park dedication fund balance to cover that addition. However, I have a grant coming in, hopefully from the USTA, for roughly the same amount as it increased, so hopefully that'll be a wash.
Nice. Does
Any
council
questions?
have any questions? TJ, this is great, and I love that your your format for putting these together.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
what was the increase on the asphalt?
Roughly 15,500.
And when is the award kind of anticipated from the USDA grant, if you're,
It's actually a lot quicker. They just changed the format. It'll be within the next month.
and how much are you looking for?
17,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you. Item 2 is an agenda item titled Resurface Outdoor Sports Courts. This is to resurface our existing courts, which we have 4 tennis courts, 1 basketball court, and 6 pickleball courts. You'll see underneath the background there, I have identified, we've submitted the tennis Cat 2 USDA tennis venue services grant application. We're hoping to receive a 50% match for that. We are on a 5-year resurfacing cycle. You can resurface anywhere between 3 to 7 years. We did wait, I believe the last time we resurfaced, a little bit too long. And it's just good to keep up with them at every 5 years. The tennis has cracks about 1/4 inch wide. The pickleball is still holding up strong, which we want to keep up with it so it continues to be the best courts in the area.
Sweet. Shar, quick question. Did I screw up on A? Did I make a motion or? I have question marks on that. Okay, I think I was cruising here. Let's go back to A.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Question or discussion? Thank you. You're welcome. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Or, yeah. Aye. Aye, yeah, okay. We're good. Ayes have it, yep. Let's just go forward. All right, B, resurfacing for the courts. Is there any discussion or questions on that?
The 50% match you're kind of hoping for is coming from where?
The USDA, that's the one I just
Oh, it's part of the, okay.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Do you have to spend 100% of your park dedication fund balance to get these grants?
No.
Okay, so I'm confused. I want to make sure it's clear. So you're thinking 17,000 for the first project from that USDA grant, and then 15,000 for this, so you're going to get about 32,000?
No, so we budgeted, I don't have my budget in
Sorry.
front of me, but we budgeted to cover all of the surfacing for the tennis courts.
Okay.
Right, so that grant will come in hopefully at 17,000, which in essence, it's the revenue, not revenue, but it's gonna be a wash from that 15.5, that increase for the pickleball court asphalt, if that makes sense.
So no additional funding really for this piece
No.
of it? Okay, thank you.
Do we have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to move forward with that.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion twice, discussion 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Item 3, we have pickleball net systems. These are what we currently have on the courts. We want to match what we currently have. And I would like to move forward with 4 Douglas pickleball net systems for the 4 additional courts. These nets will be purchased by or with the donated funds from the CPA.
Nice. Any comments, questions, concerns? I'll make a motion that we do the request for the pickleball net systems. Perfect. Discussion once, twice, 3 times. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you. Last one is just an update. We received a letter from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act matching grant. Essentially, we got rewarded $50,000, which will cover the 20% match that we have associated with the SS4A grant. Cool. So everything will be covered once we eventually get to that point of spending the funds.
Perfect. Thank you, TJ.
Can I ask a
Go ahead.
question? What is so I didn't see the end date. When do you have 24 months from the award date, or?
To secure the agreement
to
or to
utilize the
utilize the funds? I am not totally sure. We're going to learn all that information. We have a meeting here coming up soon with all related parties, and we'll go over all that information.
If you'd like me to attend, I'd be happy to be there. Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Perfect, thank you, TJ.
Thank you all.
All right, Jordan, do you have anything for us tonight?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Nothing to report on my end.
Awesome, perfect. New business, does anybody have any new business that they want to bring up?
I have one request.
Yes.
Could we possibly put together, and I mean put together, I mean Lori, an estimate to redo this?
I was just gonna bring that up. I would like to redo this dais and have something done with it, please. If we wanna do it in-house, Pat, I don't know if that's something your guys would like to do, but something of, we were talking about maybe going back to the old style of City Hall, eliminating the wings and just keeping a horseshoe.
Okay.
City staff will sit up front and then they can just approach the podium.
Well, I'll put my one guy on it that likes construction stuff and have him come up with some ideas for you.
Perfect. Do we wanna bids or, well, obviously we need bids, but
We need bids, but we'll get some designs drawn
Okay.
up first and have you guys approve it, and then we'll move forward on it.
any other,
Is there any money in the budget earmarked for this, or is this an exception?
we're gonna see.
We don't have a specific fund for this, keeping in mind that we did put $100,000 for emergency reserves, but I don't know if this would constitute that. That's something you have to vote on as a collective group. It may have to be something that we place in the 2026 budget.
I just wanna get it started now.
I would, I'm not sure, Jamie, what you requested. I would, to clarify, that we move forward with inquiry on it, that we come back and do some analysis on quotes, right? I mean, we're not.
I think that's the,
Is that what you were
that's,
clarifying? Okay, thank you.
yep. Bob, you have any input on that?
I'm perfectly fine right here, but if everybody else is uncomfortable, I want you all to be happy.
Hey, I like to hear it. I like to hear it. City staff, do you have anything on that at all? Thoughts, concerns? Go ahead, Shar.
I did look on GovOS.
Did you find anything?
Yeah, there were a couple, but they were out in, like, one was in California and one was out in Virginia.
There you go. Bob and
It would
Pat,
be-
you can go out
It would be hard
there.
to get them here.
So we
Go
gotta
drive.
fly out and look at them, right?
Right, yeah.
Exactly. All right, any other new business from anybody else? Robin?
I do have a comment. So I know you guys work really hard and the committees come up against the deadline for this meeting. I neglected to pick up my packet last Friday, so I looked over the weekend for information about what was on the agenda, and I still did not see it out on the web. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but I'd love for us to get to a point, and I know that we heard this on the campaign trail, that we're more transparent so that the community can see earlier what's on at least the agenda. Maybe not the whole packet, but
I believe it was put out this morning. It gets put out on Mondays. Am I correct?
No, it normally goes out the day that I send the packet out to
Okay.
you.
okay,
We did have an issue with our software, Adobe,
okay.
and so we weren't able to put it all together until this morning. So
Perfect.
I got it out as soon as I could.
And I suspected that was the case, perhaps a communication out on the web. Even our committee meeting agendas and notes just are not out there. People are looking for information that kind of you click on the committee and you go, okay, so it tells me when the meeting is, but doesn't really tell me what's on there.
And those
so-
should all be out there.
Okay.
Agendas, minutes,
Okay.
all that should be out there.
Okay,
Did you have one for public safety? The minutes or the minutes
Well,
reflected?
They came out today, I was only referring to
Okay,
the,
okay. Okay.
motion that was made supporting the request for
Okay.
an additional officer that I thought should be on the, agenda.
Perfect. Any old business? Any old business? I'm gonna do one more thing, a public forum. I wonder if there might be questions.
Hi, Cindy with the Cross Lake Chamber. Is public forum been eliminated at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, it was eliminated like probably 6 months ago through the halfway of the meeting. It just, I don't know who made
Can
it
we
disappear.
put that back?
We
And
can if
here's
we want.
why. I have some questions on tonight's meeting.
Talk.
And if I don't get to answer them at the end of the meeting.
Go
or
ahead,
ask
Lori.
them,
We took them off to have public forum just one time during the meeting. As I set the layout, that is what was decided upon with the last mayor. And if we open it up again at the end, then we have to really restrict our amount of time that we allow it at the end.
I will, and with council approval, open it back up towards the end, but with a strict 3-minute concession.
Okay, I'll get going.
Go.
I have a question under Public Works number D regarding the detour that you proposed. And I know you suggested that it would be the local traffic only, but I'm assuming this is in the middle of the summer when all our businesses rely on tourism. So I'm hoping that the county would have local traffic detour signs so that even the tourists can understand that I get it that the commercial semi and the delivery trucks need to, take a bigger road, but can we make it very clear that that's just not the locals that know about it, but the tourists as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I imagine as that project comes together, there's going to be a lot more into play with it than what we know now. But yes, I agree with you.
Okay. Number E, you're talking about the city needs to, what does the city need to consider? So you're doing an overlay on the project there. Sidewalks would be
What number?
E.
Okay, thank you.
So Bald Eagle Trail is at Crafts and Cones, and you're talking about redoing the pavement all the way up to the fire hall?
That is my understanding, correct.
Okay. So the business corridor would love to see sidewalks on that stretch.
Yep, and that was brought up in Public Works last Monday or whenever the meeting was. I know Teddy is already doing the groundwork from Curious Belongings and getting businesses to see if they would even be in favor of having a sidewalk out in front of their business. And then I've been having conversations with Tim Bray about what is the actual feasibility of having a sidewalk. He's doing legwork within his commissions and his group down there at the county. They're looking at old layouts of the old stormwater sewage system or stormwater sewer to see if they need to re-up that and update it. Because if we're going to be redoing the pavement, that's going to be the time that they're going to dig in. It's not as easy as just putting a slab of concrete from Pat's down to the bridge.
Right.
Yeah, so everyone's looking into it. It's just very surface level at the moment.
Okay. That would be awesome.
Yep.
The Harbor Lane project,
Yep,
is that bike path?
that is the bike path,
Okay.
yes. That is putting it, we've secured all the easements into everyone's properties. So now they're trying to figure out where they're going to put the path and then they're going to lay it.
Okay, perfect. 2 more things.
Yep.
One, I want to thank TJ for the Winterfest activities last Friday night were fantastic. TJ and his crew did a ton of work. They actually added snow to the sledding hill. That was very nice. The fires were awesome. The warming house was terrific. I just want to thank you guys. You really went above and beyond. We've never seen that many people at that event, and it was super
packed.
fun.
It was great.
Yep. And then lastly, I'm just looking for an update on the short-term rentals. Are licenses available for people to buy? Are they're booking their summer reservations right now? Is everything on task there with those folks?
Right now, I know they're working on it. We're doing life safety inspections as we speak. We're doing it paper style at the moment. March 8th, I believe, is the date that our online system will be up. So once that's up, everything will be done through the online system, the licensing, the paperwork, everything. Chip will still need to do the in-person life safety inspections, but everything will be done March 8th going forward online.
So people are able to.
So people are right now
take
in the process.
reservations.
Yes,
There's no
they can take
hindrance to that.
reservations, they can go as they please, but they're gonna need the final okay with Chip's life safety inspection and by securing a license. But right now, yes, they can advertise and everything else.
And book reservations.
And book, yes, and book
And they can
reservations.
submit an application for a
Right.
license
Right,
Yes.
yep.
right now.
Okay.
And there's nobody stopping them, and the city has never said they cannot, start reservations. The
Okay.
city has never taken that stance, so
Thank you for clarifying that.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, Pat, do you have anything? Peter, come on up. Come on down, come on up.
Talk to you guys, so that I could
That's all right.
public forum at the end. Peter Graves, 14131 Sugarloaf Road. I just wanted to keep the committee in, the commission in a loop about the April Foolish Day tournament, which we've held for 3 years running in April. And tell you that it's been foolish to do that early in the year because people aren't back in town and the weather never wants to cooperate with us. So the pickleball club has chosen to move it to the fall and run a tournament in the middle of September. Still want it to be a charity event that raises monies for local charities in the area so that we can give our support back to the community on that. But this gives us more of an opportunity to get teams involved, raise the number of people playing with more courts. We want to expand it, and gives us a chance to talk to the businesses in town and the residents to see if they're willing to give donations and support that. So we're just shifting it. We're also working with Cross Lake Cares to make it a senior tournament. So it'll be for people 50 and above to participate in that event. And I didn't want the council members to be getting questions or asked about something that they hadn't heard anything about, so.
Perfect, Peter. I appreciate you continuing that and moving it so it's more accommodating.
All right.
Thank you. All right, council, does anyone have any last-minute concerns, questions, or anything? Up to the microphone, please, Mr. O'Leary.
My name is Joel O'Leary, 14791 River Bluff Road. I also serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Just a question about one of the items on the agenda regarding adding an additional officer. As you have tasked us to look at some ordinances and to get back to with those, the addition of an additional police officer, if I said that right, also said code enforcement officer. Is that in regards to city ordinances that are currently in violation?
Just city ordinances going forward is my understanding. It's not for like state building code or anything like that, but
Right
going
on.
forward, just enforcing code.
Okay, and do we have a job description that you can present to the Planning and Zoning Committee on that so we understand what percentage of their time will be available for
I
that?
don't think we've consolidated to a percentage of time that they're going to be spending enforcing or being on the streets or anything, but if you need a job description, we'll be more than happy to provide that to you,
Well,
of
it's
what
one
a
of those
police
things,
officer does.
As you know, you've directed us to come up with new ordinances, and we want to make sure that there's some teeth to those ordinances, that there's an enforcement arm to it. So
I don't think we're going to have anything dictating how long an officer is going to be code enforcing, but
So from the public safety and from a human resources standpoint, we are hiring a police officer. So as you know, a police officer has many different job functions. A small portion of that's going to be dedicated to some code enforcement, but we can't write the job description to state that 25% of it is going to be designated to code enforcement. It is a police officer at the end of the day.
Right. And I think Paul will probably have some input on this because it currently falls on Paul's shoulders to do the code enforcement, but he doesn't have the, and I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think you have the time and resources for that. Do you want to address that, Paul?
Yeah, and I know, I mean, this idea of adding some of these responsibilities to, or I don't even know responsibilities, but that aspect to a seventh officer, we just haven't gone down the road of exactly defining that scope of work. Yes, I mean, code enforcement falls on my shoulders, and it is one more added task in town. And so having another person to help out with that, how that actually plays out, that's the conversation that still needs to be had.
Let's just leave it at that. It's police officer.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
When it's been talked about, I wouldn't even say code enforcement, more like ordinance enforcement. okay?
Exactly.
And the one thing we don't want to do is, sending an armed uniformed police officer to somebody's house saying, your grass is too long, you need to mow it, or you got to get rid of these junk cars in your driveway that haven't moved.
Right.
It's more or less going to be eyes and ears out there to help planning and zoning with what they can't do, because they can't be out there all day looking at all this stuff. So we don't know yet. It's a police officer, and we'll work through that as we go.
Go ahead.
Mr. O'Leary, I think it's important that you still look at what the resources are that you all need, looking at the new, what we're sending back to you guys for a task. And so it's clear today that it's a police officer, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with what are the resource needs you have.
Well, part of the problem that we run into, and Paul can speak to this, is that if we bring to you another ordinance, what are we going to do with the violations of that because of the fact that we don't have enough resources currently to address the current level of violations?
As we talked, it's a moving target. We had that discussion the last meeting. We're just hiring a police officer at the moment. We don't know the time dedicated. Like Lori said, they wear many hats, and that's the conversation right there. So thank you, Mr. O'Leary.
Thank you.
Jonathan, I know you're probably didn't adjust well to the 7 o'clock meeting time, but this is your last chance at public forum if you're going to do it. Well, I don't know what you're saying, so. Name and address, please.
I'm Jonathan Grothe. I'm representing the Cross Lakers. Planning is the first step in making dreams into reality. In September of 2016, the Minnesota design team visited City of Cross Lake.
Mr. Grothe, I just have a quick question. Does this have to do with sidewalks?
What's that?
Does this have to do with sidewalks?
Yes.
We just had that conversation.
It did.
We did.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to keep going, you're more than welcome.
Well, yeah, I guess I'd like to go through this anyway.
Go ahead.
Because it's a little bit of history and things, and we got to.
You got 3 minutes.
A number of new council people here.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay. So the plans that were set forth from the Minnesota design team included land use, building types visions, and a comp plan vision of the downtown commercial district connecting Town Square with other retail stretching from bridge to bridge along County Road 66. Developing the Loon Center paired with a freshwater research institute. The Cross Lakers developed out of this group and has continued today with a goal of implementing the design team's vision for City of Cross Lake. Cross Lakers have been working with county engineers, city council, and staff to bring these visions into reality. Since their visit less than 10 years ago, most of their ideas and recommendations have been implemented. All of the ideas and recommendations in that time, Town Square has introduced housing, the next phase of retail is in planning stage, the school has expanded, the Loon Center is soon to become a reality as groundbreaking is set for this spring. And in the past year, we saw the addition of sidewalks on the east side of the County Road 66 from Bald Eagle Trail south to the new roundabout and connecting the trail on County Roads 3. This project also narrowed the roadway, helping to slow vehicular traffic, adding to the safety of the area. The City of Cross Lake has become more cohesive, connected, safe, walkable community because of this vision and planning. It's become a reality, that is, with the exception of being bridge to bridge. Cross Lakers would like to see an implementation of the project to continue the sidewalks along County Road 66 from Bald Eagle Trail to the north to the bridge, connecting other businesses like the Model Train Club, Dairy Queen, among others, via a safe, walkable route. Crow Wing County has recently issued an update of their current and future projects in the Cross Lake area. And one project planned is a 66 roadway rehab from Bald Eagle Trail to Log Landing for the year 2028. The Cross Lakers would like the sidewalk extension project to coincide with this roadway rehab. Cross Lakers plan to stay involved, continue to make suggestions, work with the city and county representatives, and do all we can to complete the Minnesota design team's vision for the city. But we need this City Council to be on board and submit grant proposals, find funding, or budget for the extension project, and be on board with the vision and planning in order for this to become a reality. When it comes to construction projects, amazing how quickly time moves, so now's the time to act and start planning. As I said, planning is the first step to making dreams a reality, so thanks for your support.
So right now, just because you missed the conversation, there is conversation with the city and Mr. Bray at Crow Wing County. He's working in his circles of trying to look at old plans of the stormwater sewage, or the stormwater sewage system, whatever you want to call it, that's 50 years old. It's going to be more of a project if they have to move that, but they would rather do that first than just lay a sidewalk on top of it and have to move it 10 years from now. So there is conversation in his circles, and there's communication between the city and him about the topic.
Okay, and I know Public Works is looking into all this too,
Yep.
because they've got the plans. Yeah, and I know it's possible to do the sidewalk on the existing right-of-ways, not moving the curbing or not moving all of the other
Correct.
parts. Personally, I think it would be nice to carry the narrowed roadway and that on further than that. And I know that's a more expensive project than that.
Very,
too, so.
very. But thank you, Mr. Grothy, I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any last minute conversation topics here? Awesome, all right.
I will motion to adjourn.
Perfect. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Recording.
Good job.